BLAPCHAT. Yeah, boy.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
We here.
What's that sound?
Oh.
Jenny. Stage.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Sound like a little power drill.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some construction going on over here.
Construction. It's getting hot in here.
It's getting hot up in here.
So take off all the clothes. I'm just kidding. Shout to Nelly. That was a Nelly song, right?
Yeah,
anyway,
Country
I don't
Grammar.
know why that just got into my head. Anyway, we're here. BLAPCHAT episode, yes. I don't really know. Josh? 75. I'm your host, Illmind. This is BLAPCHAT. This is an all-music production podcast. I'm here with my amazing co-host.
Yes.
What's up, guys?
Goody. Atlas the plug here. What's good? It's only some biggie.
He's the plug.
It's good to be here. And we got, of course,
it's your girl, Perfection.
Perfection.
What's going on?
The reason why you guys watch us.
I know,
that's
right?
Facts.
That's true.
So Perfection, we were just saying before we started this, Perfection has like one of the illest like producer drops.
Perfect.
I think like, dude, it's literally perfect.
Perfect.
I just love it, man.
It is perfect.
Did we ever talk about like
it.
where you got that name, Perfection? For like your producer name?
Have we? I'm not sure.
No. Can you spill that? Spill the beans for us.
It's a good one.
Well, for me, so it just started off as an Instagram name, really. Like, I'm a Virgo, and you know, a lot of people say that we love perfection. We're perfectionists.
We're also the best. Virgos are the best.
Virgos are the best. I would agree with that.
We are the best. Michael Jackson.
Wow, this is three Virgos in here.
Yeah,
Nas,
that's right.
This is dangerous.
Swizz Beats.
Mm-hmm.
List goes on.
We're great.
But, I kind of saw that in myself where sometimes I'm like a perfectionist. I'm trying to do things like as great as I can.
Yeah.
So, my Instagram 2012, I just started it as like love perfection,
Hey.
Virgo, love perfection. And it kind of caught on, and I just kept it as a brand, like, I kept it as a name, Perfection, because people just started calling me that when they would see me, Perfection. And then, with trying to come up with a brand name, I was like, I didn't want to think too far into it.
Yep.
I felt like it was just there and people were calling me it already, so it kind of started branding itself. So I just started calling myself Perfection, and I'm pushing the no one's perfect kind of thing because, I've realized that within me trying to be perfect, I'm actually not.
Imperfect.
So, it's kind of like a double,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Atlas obviously has one of the coolest names because it's just his name.
Yeah, Atlas.
Awesome.
Yeah, everyone tthinks I made it up, which is pretty funny. They're like, "Oh, so what's your real name?"
Gerald.
And I'm like, Willie. Willy nilly.
Willie.
No, but growing up, I hated it because kids are cruel and they'd be like making fun of me. But dead ass, if I hear one more, I hear it every day of my life. There's always someone's like, oh, so how's the world on your shoulders?
Of course.
And then the other one I get is like, oh, can you shrug for me?
The good old world joke.
Yeah, but you know what? I love it. It's a great icebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's who I am. So it's my brother has a very interesting name.
Your brother's name is Aladdin.
My brother's name is Aladdin. That's correct.
I think that's amazing.
So it's Atlas and Aladdin. How crazy is that?
That's
and I have a sister.
What's her name?
Medusa.
Medusa?
No, I'm just kidding. Her name is not
God.
Medusa.
Hey.
I got you though.
Oh my God, that was close.
It's close. There's a good one.
Got us with that. So anyway, once again, and my name is Illmind. I don't want to give you guys my government name. You guys might know my government name, but I won't tell you guys. It's Hector.
Starts with a J.
Hector.
That's right.
Yep. You know what I mean?
There you
So shout to all the Hectors out there. Anyway, this is BLAPCHAT episode 75. It's an all music production podcast. Our other co-host Glam couldn't be here. She had some stuff to do. Glam is like a real artist.
Yeah.
So
She's
she,
out here.
man, like I really, honestly, like really commend her for being able to do this every week. Cause like she's like, we're all on the grind, but like she produces, she raps, she's like shooting her own videos, she's like
planning a rollout.
You know what I mean? And like she's really going for it. So
booking gigs and everything else,
booking gigs. Like she's like the true independent artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, man, she's so talented.
She's about to be out of here.
Yeah.
She'll man,
she's
listen,
about to be out of here.
Glam is headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think like her music there really aren't many or really any artists that do exactly like what she does.
Yep.
So I think that's amazing. So like,
and the fact that she does everything on her own musically just gives her that advantage.
Exactly. So she's like a one-man band. You know what I mean? So
and she does it live, and she plays the beats live, and she does sets and builds up the track on the spot. It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
She raps, she sings.
Yep. So shout to Glam. Man, we have a lot to cover today.
I can't wait.
There's a lot of shit to talk about. First, I want to say shout to all my producers in New Jersey who came through to my Pass the Aux event in New Jersey. It was in Jersey City. It happened a few days ago. My man Josh was with me, of course. Josh, it was good, right? Yeah. I mean, if it sucked, he would probably say it was good.
Yeah. It was great. Loved it.
No, but it was great. It was one of my favorite ones. So if you're wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, basically I'm kind of on this like tour where I'm going to different cities every month, and I'm linking up with 20 up-and-coming music producers and artists. And basically I'm renting out a secret studio location. I'm inviting 20 up-and-coming producers and artists to come in and plug the aux in and play their music one by one. So we play the music, we talk about their individual situations and what they're trying to accomplish and stuff like that, and I'm there to kind of give them some constructive criticism. We laugh, we talk, we answer questions, and I try to enlighten them to the best of my ability based on their individual needs and wants with what they're aspiring to do. So I've been doing it for, it's been a little over a year now, and we've done so many cities. Next week I'll be in Toronto twice, so we're doing 2 nights in Toronto. And I got what do we got, Josh? Man, we have LA, we got a New York date, we got a bunch of different dates. So go to my website, illmindproducer.com. Some of the cities are already sold out, but go to my website, illmindproducer.com, to check out the list of cities that I'm coming to and book a slot and come through. If you're an upcoming music producer, upcoming singer, songwriter, upcoming rapper, whatever it is you do, and you want to link up with some of your folks in your city and link up with me and have a good time, then I think you should come through. So check it out.
And back in Jersey, back home
in Jersey. So yeah, shout to Jersey City. They showed out, man. So much variety in Jersey City. I'm noticing like different cities have like a vibe. Like when I go to Toronto, there's like a vibe. You know what I mean? And like so it made me wonder. It's like I'm about to do New York again for like the 10th time in October, I believe, or September. What's you guys' opinion on like the idea that like New York is this melting pot? So do you feel like as music producers who live in New York, do you feel like it's our responsibility to kind of like step up and like define the sound, or do you think it's okay that a city like New York is kind of all over the place in terms of like signature sound?
I think New York should definitely have its own signature sound. I don't think it's wrong for artists to kind of tap into, different sounds from different cities. Like, the most popular is like the trap, the down south thing. Everybody does it. You could be from Brooklyn, but you sound like you're from Atlanta. It's not that hard. So, I think for people to try stuff is cool, but I definitely think that New York should have its own sound. I think as producers, we should definitely step it up and get that new sound. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, define that New York
whatever
texture.
That is. Like, and I just feel like a lot of people, when they think New York, they think like boom bap. So that's like what their mind directly goes towards. But it doesn't necessarily have to be boom bappy, like some new innovative shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
what do you think, At?
Well, I think, I think as far as New York goes, and as far as music goes, and as far as creating music and being a producer or a songwriter or a singer, I don't really think there should be any limits on what the sound you make. And I don't think there should be anything as like New York sound. I get it. I mean, listen, hip hop started, if we're talking hip hop at least, right? It started in the Bronx, right? In New York. But I think as a producer or as an artist or a songwriter, there shouldn't be limits. The fact that Designer did Panda and everyone thought that was a down south, he bit off Future. I mean, listen, say what you want. It did sound like Future, but it was a smash, and he was whatever he was influenced by. It's what you're influenced by. You know, again, even if you look at hip hop or like blues, like, you know, or rock and roll, like that started from blues. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I think if you're a creator of music, just create and don't really like worry about, you know, oh, man, I'm from Brooklyn, I got to do some hard boom bap stuff. Like, you know what? No, just do what the fuck you like to do.
Do what you want.
And I think, you know too, what I mean? Like, just going back on the whole designer thing, just talking about that specifically, it's like if you've seen his interviews or you've seen him and, you know, heard him speak in person, like that's literally how he talks. Like literally. So it's, you know,
fact.
like
that's a fact.
Literally is how he talks. So what do you want him to do? I mean, he can change his voice to sound like something else. He won't sound like Future, but like if he gets in the booth and that's how he sounds, that's how he sounds.
Well, listen,
and it happens to work for him. So.
Listen, if you really think, depending on what you believe in, but if you really believe about like space and an infinite of, then there's someone out there just like me and someone out there just like you and someone, you know what I mean? So like, not to get into that side of things, but like, you know, it's music, and there's only so many notes on a keyboard. Right. So if 2 people or 3 people hit the same notes, it's coincidental, but it's just what it is. You know what I mean? So I think
it's music.
Yeah, exactly. It's music. It's music. So I think, you know, designer, and interesting about designer too is like how he was like suicidal. Right. One time he thought about killing himself, and you see him now, and he's always so happy and positive, and you know, but he like transformed himself into being someone who had really negative thoughts in his head to like, you know what, let me snap out of this, like let me be positive, and like he has that energy. I can't even explain it, right? Perfection. Like he's got an energy in him. It's like he walks in a room and I could imagine everyone's like, man, like I just want to be around that guy.
He's so like boisterous and confident, but like not in a confrontational way. Right. It's more just like, oh, like the room kind of lights up when designer walks in, type of thing. He just has so much energy.
Funny, I just saw this tweet that Master P tweeted that Nicki Minaj was talking on Elle. She just did an interview with Elle. And she had the cover for the magazine. She said, the truth of the matter is trap has taken over so much that even our New York rappers are doing nothing but trap songs because they feel that that's the only way they'll make it.
I mean, she has a point. But I think the deeper conversation is that as a whole, regardless of if you're from New York or not, like music is just a melting pot at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like at this point, I think as an artist, we've kind of come to the understanding that like, okay, regardless of where you're from, you have free reign to tap into any vibe you want. You know what I mean? Exactly. And that's just the progression of music. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I think with music, you don't want to feel boxed in, like you were saying. Right. Like you want to you be able to use every color palette. So I personally don't think that you should feel bad about like, you know, if you're from like, you know, Atlanta, you're allowed to like make house music too if you want. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or like reggaeton or like Latin trap if you're Hispanic.
Sure, exactly.
Because what if an artist from Atlanta was to get on like a boom bappy type of hip hop track? I'm sure people would criticize them too, but
listen, if Metro felt like doing a gritty boom bap kind of beat, I would be excited to listen to that. Like you know what I mean? Like if that drives him and he's excited to do that, like why not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like you should never be limited at any. It's music. It's a broad, like you're a painter. You're like painting your own canvas. It's like you're doing. Nobody can tell you what the fuck to do. No. Like it's up to you. If you feel if you want to play it a certain way or program drums a certain way or play melody, whether it's guitar or keys or organ or trumpet, whatever the hell it is, a synth, you shouldn't be limited ever.
Facts.
And when you start feeling limited, that's when it's not going to be your best work, in my opinion. You should always be free to do what you want.
Facts. Let's talk about this tweet from, this is a perfect transition.
The Sunny Digital.
Yeah. So Sunny Digital, and shout to Sunny, man. That's the homie.
Yeah. We had him. Good having him on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you haven't heard the Sunny Digital episode, go back. I forgot what number it is, but go back and listen to that. He dropped some jewels. But my man Sunny made a tweet recently. I think like a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 2 days ago.
And basically said, yo, my fellow producers, stop making beats that sound the same. And then Mike Will retweeted it and said, been saying this since 2010 with the hand over face emoji. Here, zoom in.
Shaking
on
my
that,
head
Jeff.
emoji.
Yeah, so it's this tweet right here. So, shout to Sonny and Mike for kind of bringing that to light. What do you guys think of that? I think that's very interesting because they definitely have a point.
I feel like the type beat thing, I know we talk about it all the time. I feel like that really started popping within the last 3 years or so.
Well, they've been doing that for a long time, but I think in terms of popularity, right?
For how long? I mean, like, it's popularity wise. Like, they've probably been doing it
popularity wise
within 5 years.
Few years, but
3 to 5.
I think these kids have been doing that since
because everybody's been emulating what other people were doing, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. I agree with Sonny because I feel like what's happening is even like I'm just going to stick to the type beats right now. It's like, and we've said, and I've said this, and we've said this. When you're doing type beats, you're replicating somebody else's sound that they've already done because you're replicating it. You're doing that type of beat. So what happens is like you get someone like Drake, who's the number one artist, Kendrick, J. Cole. These guys are number one guys, right? So many people are trying to replicate these type of beats. It's like everyone's just recycling the same sound. Everyone's trying to sound like 808 Mafia or trying to sound like Illmind or trying, you know what I mean? But like they're not, you know. But I understand where they're coming from as far as that goes because I listen to a lot of beats do sound the same. It's like the 808. It's like the programming.
It doesn't mean it's not good. It's
right.
An
It doesn't
originality
mean
thing.
Exact. There you go. That's exactly.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I think there's both positives and negatives. Perfection. What do you think about it? All that.
I'm trying to find this tweet that I saw. I'm not gonna be able to find it.
Yeah.
Just to touch up on like the type beat thing. Damn, I wish I screenshotted
Who's it from?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. But it said something about like type beats aren't producers necessarily just trying to make like a quick beat, like replicating something else. They're basically saying like this is what the artist would like, not like
I made this with Drake in mind,
right? Not me as a producer trying to copy another producer.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing a type beat because this is the artist's sound, and I found that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It made me like look at things a little differently.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I think it's a combination of both, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm a producer, so I'm making beats, and I have a specific artist in mind that I want to make beats for, to potentially send to or pitch to. Let's say Drake, for instance. If I sit there and make a beat with Drake in mind, it's a Drake type beat, right? It's a beat that I can hear Drake on. Now, I think where the confusion comes in is when you see the words Drake type beat.
You think 40.
Yeah, you think, okay, well, that producer is mimicking
40 or
whoever
whoever
produced for Drake, or they're mimicking a particular beat that Drake already used.
Right.
And then there's this third component, which makes it super confusing, where they label it Drake type beat for search engine optimization to be able to become discovered on YouTube so that they can sell those beats to independent rappers who are looking for Drake type beats or beats that Drake would pick, which is like a lot of rappers, you know what I mean? So and that's good for business. So there's like these three components that I think everyone has their own version of like why they like or dislike a type beat, but at the end of the day I think it's a combination of those three, right?
It's interesting you say that. It just reminds me of just the way the new generation is doing it. You know what I mean? Especially producers.
I think it's fascinating.
It is.
I mean, listen, guys,
I love digging in on this topic.
I rag on you guys for the whole type beat shit.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, I have to tip my hat off to you guys who have found a system to create an online business, do the SEO, the type beat stuff, sell beats, create a 1-year income. I mean, who can hate on that? That's amazing.
And we've had guests that have success stories from type beats.
Yeah.
Like at least Concept P, Taylor Taz, who are 2 or 3 other ones that
Taz Taylor,
Panda, Menace.
Yeah, Menace.
You know, so like these are huge number
Concept
one hits.
P.
Concept P, right.
Yeah. So circle back to the Sunny Digital tweet, do you think that the type beat sort of mentality has anything to do with taking away from producers being original?
I'm going to say yes.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
Why don't you start that off?
I think because sometimes certain people are following a blueprint. You know what I mean? So in certain senses, it kind of is like you're mimicking a certain producer, a certain sound. When you look at type tutorials, like if you look at a Drake type beat tutorial, it'll kind of walk you through the steps of exactly what that other producer did. Like, okay, they started with the synth. Okay, then they, put the 808, and then like they follow a formula. So you're kind of going with the same sound. How are you incorporating something new if you're following like a blueprint, a guideline? And not saying that that's wrong, but going back to what you were saying, it's like, yeah, it doesn't change things. But what I would say is I don't think producers who do type beats or post type beats, that's the only thing they have in their catalog. So I would say, like, don't only focus on type beats, like push your other catalog, because it's clear that people want something new, something fresh. It's just that sometimes I think type beats kind of, if an artist is kind of used to the same sound, they might gravitate towards that. Yeah. But it takes the artist and the producer to be like, nah, man, I want something new. So I think producers need to push their catalog aside from only pushing, the type beat.
Yeah, totally. What's your take, Ad?
I think on top of that, we have to look at technology and the pace at which producers can create a track and literally put it out on Apple Music, all the platforms within 24 hours. I can make a beat right now and, in an hour or two, put it up on all these platforms so everybody can consume this music. So I think technology is kind of put wood on the fire, per se, as to why everyone's just like pumping out, like just because, the time at which music lasts right now is so fast. Yeah, everything is just it's just so quick. So when you add technology onto everything that we're talking about, especially within the last 3 to 5 years, with like TuneCore and DistroKid and all these other platforms that they have, which are great, by the way. It's just they're putting them out so fast that it's just everywhere, like this, and snap my fingers, it's there. So, I think that kind of adds to it. When back in the day where you depended on the radio, you had to wait for Hot 97 or Flex to drop the bomb on a record before you heard it, or Big Boy, in Cali. So before we used to have to wait to kind of get it. Now we can just get it from our phone at any time.
You get it immediately. I mean, Kanye is making changes on albums after the albums come out, so everything is just in the now. Yeah. It's so interesting, Perfection, when you mention like, a lot of type beats or just producers in general, like mimicking other people, and again, tying in the Sunny Digital tweet. Yeah. I think it's a very debatable and delicate conversation, because I'm a huge advocate, especially for new producers. I'm a huge advocate of new producers mimicking music they like. And I think what's interesting is, like you said, when you start as a new music producer, you kind of don't really have a choice but to create what you like. So if you are a new producer and you love, Metro Boomin, your first 1 to 100 beats or more will probably sound like Metro. Rightfully so. I mean, that's like the guy you're really inspired by. You love the way he does his drums and his melodies, and you're kind of mimicking that. And I think that's true in all forms of art. Every great artist derives their creativity from something, but they eventually, the more they do it, they eventually break out and create their own version, and they become them, right? Yeah. And so I think what's happening now with production is, like you said, Atlas, everything is moving so fast. I think that there's a lot of producers out there that are like in this phase of still mimicking, but making like really good versions of what they're mimicking, and then they're posting up online on YouTube, and then they have the hashtags and they have the Drake type beat, and then people are listening and they're like, oh yeah, that's a good beat. Right. Yeah. Even though that producer is still kind of in that mimic phase.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, because kind of like what you said is like new producers and things like that, you have to go through that. We've all been through that. Sometimes people are still doing that. Like, I know people that do that when they get beat blocked. Like, just, so there's nothing wrong with it. For me, I'm saying more so like producers that already made a name for themselves doing that, or already generating a lot of revenue doing that. It's like, okay, clearly you're good, you have something dope, you're making money, people fuck with it, but like, how can you push the envelope?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I think that's what separates you from becoming great and becoming legendary. You know, like I'm talking about like Pharrell, Timbaland, Swizz Status.
That beat battle though.
Yeah,
listen,
we're gonna talk about that in a second.
Listen, guys. You have, you know, if you pertain,
I thought that
if when it comes to music, like I want to compare it to sports real quick, right? It's like you have Jordan, Michael Jordan, who was mimicked by Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
And then Kobe Bryant created his own lane of greatness.
Yep.
And then you look at someone like LeBron James, number 23, who looked up to Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Who did Michael? You know what I'm saying? So
really
like,
quickly, who did Michael Jordan look up to?
That's a very good question. That's a good question. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I would think it would be like Dr. J.
Let us know in the comment section.
Dr. J. You know, Julius Erving, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or maybe those guys.
Yeah. Who did Michael Jordan?
Who was his guy?
Who was his inspiration?
That's a good one. That's a good question. But I'm saying, like you look at LeBron, you look at Kobe. You know, they both were 23, and then Kobe I think went to 24 when he left, but. Boom! They did the moves just like Michael. So just like producing, like Jet, like Ill, like for you, Dilla.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was so many people, but Dilla was the first.
Was the first.
Yeah,
you know, I know down the road it changed as you got deeper into the craft, but like Dilla was your guy in the beginning, and you were trying.
I wonder who Timbo's guy was.
Like, who did Dilla look up to?
He looked up to Pete Rock.
Pete Rock. Who did Pete Rock look up to?
Pete Rock. I don't know. We gotta get him on the show to ask him.
Yeah, I'd love to know that.
We should get Pete Rock.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Got Pete Rock. But yeah, you have a really good point, man. You know, what about Pharrell? Who do you guys think Pharrell was influenced by? Teddy Riley?
Yeah.
I'm sure,
Teddy Riley.
I'm sure that was on the list.
I'd say that. Maybe Rick Rubin.
I think he was on record saying Dilla as well.
Dilla? Yeah.
Pharrell was saying, and Chad were saying Dilla inspired them too. That's so interesting. But yeah, so I think the message really is just like, I don't think the type B thing is like this. It gets such a bad rep.
Yeah. It's not.
But you see it's working, right? And there's a reason why it's working. I personally think that, and going back to the Slightly Digital tweet and Mike Will, I think a lot of this has to do with the types of beats, types of beats that artists are choosing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let me give you an example. Like, let's see, who can I name? Just, it's gonna be weird. So like, let's Taylor Swift, right? Has none, whatever. Taylor Swift, you kind of know what to expect when you hear her project, the type of production, big pop anthems and stuff. She can literally, I'm not saying this is a good idea, but she can literally single-handedly change the soundscape of pop music if she just decided to say, you know what, on my next album, I'm gonna have Pete Rock produce the whole thing and just sing over bass line, boom bap, dirty drum stuff.
You know where that started?
You know what I mean?
You know where that kind of happened though, when she did the thing with Kendrick.
Yeah. What do you
mean?
No.
Did she do something with Kendrick?
Who?
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift?
Oh no, did she?
Yeah,
she did. Kendrick,
together.
right? And then the thing with Jumpman when she was on the treadmill.
Yeah, I mean she was like urban leaning.
Yeah.
No,
but that's
I'm
what
talking about like someone you wouldn't expect.
Oh, so
saying,
you mean like
what?
her over some hip hop beat trap?
Yeah, like
type shit.
Specifically Pete Rock.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Shit.
But like that kind of decision making from someone who moves the needle like so much like Taylor Swift can like help change the soundscape.
Game.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think what's happening in hip hop is a lot of the big guys are, and I'm not knocking anyone, like everyone's got their own sound, and I actually personally love where hip hop is now, but I think that what Mike Will and Sonny were talking about was more, we need maybe more diversity. And it starts with the producers.
Yeah, and I think too, kind of what you were saying, it starts with the producer, but I think the artists also, you know, have a big role in it, mainly because, you know, the way music is in 2018, it's not that easy to get put on as an artist, but it can be easy to get put on as an artist with social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go viral. You don't even need to be a rapper for a year. You could have been rapping for 5 months. And I mean, there's plenty of examples. I mean, Tekashi, for instance, he's always like, I've only been out for 5 months. I've only been rapping for 6 months, and I got 7 songs on Billboard. So, you know, I think a lot of artists also use a certain blueprint.
Yep.
Act this way, you know, sound like this, take this type of beat, say this, say that, troll, and then I'm lit.
Yeah.
So why should I push the envelope if it was this easy?
Right.
You know?
Well, it's interesting, man. Well, you were going to say something?
No, I just feel like that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
It is.
Like, that's
what
thing.
I'm saying. Like, where music is now, you know what I mean? Like, it's
right.
kind of difficult because there's a lot of people that it is easy to just make a type beat, to record in your room, to post it on social media and you know, all platforms online. So anybody can do it. So a lot of artists are like, oh, well, if he did it and listen to that song, or he did that dance, I can do it too. And then it becomes a lot of that to where it kind of devalues.
Too much, right?
Yeah, it devalues the music.
It's like, oh, I need a laptop, a mic, an interface, and a DAW. That's it.
Which I'm not. Which I think is amazing, though.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it if you utilize it properly and you make some classic.
I mean,
shit.
the fact that we're living in a time where you, like you said, you can have a laptop, a DAW, a fucking microphone, Pro Tools, whatever. You don't even need Pro Tools, and a fucking beat that you can lease online for $20 or whatever it is. Get it, record a song. Start your social media accounts, which are free to sign up, post the shit up, and you can get yourself popping. I think for people out there that are doing that and becoming successful, I gotta clap it up for you.
I agree.
I gotta give it up to you.
I agree.
But like you said, perfection. There's this thing that's happening now where now we have too much of it.
Well, that goes back
You know
to the
what I mean?
technology thing I was saying earlier. It's like people take music in and, you know, ingest it so fast. It's here on Monday. It's gone on Tuesday. It's, you know, and it started like that even with the blogs. When the blogs were a big thing, it's like
True.
Monday you're on the first page. Tuesday, see you later. No, you got to go all the way down to start finding the content that you're looking for, and that's happening now with the music.
Yeah.
You know, which is great. It's a bad thing and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it allows new people and newcomers to come in and, you know, put their taste on the game and put something out and possibly blow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love it. I'll be honest.
I think what's interesting that's happening now is it's going to be really I'm really curious to see how everything plays out.
Yeah.
You know, like I think we had this conversation on one of our earlier shows, but I really want to touch on it again. The fact that, you know, every 5 years that goes by, let's say starting from the mid 90s, right? Just for shits and giggles, because that was, you know, a lot of people's like golden era for hip hop. Starting in 1995 and then skipping every 5 years. Every 5 years you had sort of like a handful of new artists that came onto the scene and did some groundbreaking stuff, and then over time eventually became legendary, right? So like in 1996 it was like Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z, you know, and then like Illmatic came before that. You had Nas, you had Big, and then you had Big, and so, and then we're going into the 2000s, and we have like Eminem, 50 Cent, you know, the list goes on. There's so many, but every 5 years, every time you go 5 years, there's like less and less of the amount of legendary artists, right? So like, let's think about from 2010 to 2018. Right. Let's think about all the artists that blew up between 2010 and 2018. You have Kendrick, Drake,
J. Cole,
or let's say 2010 to 2015.
Okay.
Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole.
Just hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop.
Okay.
Who else do we have? I mean,
Kendrick, Drake,
J. Cole. I'm talking about legendary. Like these guys are legendary at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I have to sit and think about that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say there's a couple people I would have
Nicki.
named.
I'd put Nicki on there. I love
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
And then you think 2015 to 2018, we have 2 more years to get to 2020.
Wayne's been around way before that.
Wayne,
Yeah.
He was like 2000s. So we're 2 more years to 2020. That's another 5. Who do we have since 2015? That's getting like legendary status here.
Well, here's the thing with that.
Chance.
No, here's
That's
no.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, but hold
Chance,
on. Here's the thing with that. we won't know that today.
We won't know that.
Right.
And so for us to answer that question, we have to wait 10 years.
But I think also maybe
to go back. Because listen, no, hold up. Sorry, not to cut you off. But like,
Alice is mad.
No. Because I just want to say this because I hear that. But every generation goes through that. The way your parents like music that we didn't fuck with, the way their parents like music that they didn't fuck with. It all goes through that. Our kids will have, and their kids, and that we know. So like, in the moment right now, that's impossible to answer.
Yeah,
because you have to be with 10 years from now to look back to say these things. You listen when.
But I think it's also seeing the direction people are going with their career and what they're doing. Kind of like what you said, and that's one of the people I was thinking about when you were mentioning it was Childish Gambino.
Mm-hmm.
Like just seeing the different things and awareness that these type of artists are raising through their music. Now just imagine what they're doing in 3 years, in 4 years, even like somebody like Joyner Lucas.
Joyner Lucas.
I mean? Like it's still young and fresh, but
that's
like we see the direction where that's going.
We can see the trajectory.
Exactly.
That's all we have, right? Like we have the trajectory. So in terms of,
so we can't answer those questions.
You can't answer that for everyone, but there's certain people that you'll be like the direction they're going.
Yeah, but even like the Bigs and the Jays and the Pacs and all that, like. Even when they came out, it's like you kind of saw it, but maybe you weren't really sure because you weren't sure what the longevity was going to be. Right. You know what I mean? So like Redman, who I think is legend, right? Yeah. But like, when Redman first came out, were you thinking legend? Like real talk, you were thinking, he's just talented, he's around, he's funny,
just like a dope, right? Yeah,
he just can spit, he's down, he fucks with Woo, he's Matt is his homie, he does his own thing, he's you know what I'm saying? So like. I think it's just a time thing, and it's just a generational gap thing, man.
Yeah,
just same way like our parents listen to music, and you're like, that shit is whack,
right?
And they hate our music, and the way our kids will look at us like, oh, your shit's old school, like Biggie, Tupac,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so exciting and fascinating, honestly. Excuse me, to like try to see the trajectory of all this stuff because it's like, we have all these new like. Potentially legendary artists come in, but I think the real question is like, are we seeing a decline in how many?
Can't say that. You can't say that. In my opinion, we can't say it. It's just a time
too
early.
Because
we can't read the future. We don't know.
Yeah, because also too is like I'm sure there are so many artists that are bubbling right now that we don't know about that might maybe in 6 months do some. You know what I mean? Something crazy like Childish Gambino, or in the next year.
That's what's so exciting. So that's why I love this shit.
So many people in this world trying to do music that you never know who's gonna be the next Cardi B, or
Yeah.
Every generation has their like legends.
Yeah, totally.
And you know what I mean? And love it or hate it, there's gonna be people that you like that other people don't like.
Yep.
Listen, let's talk about Tekashi. People say, is he gonna be a legend? Or is he not gonna be a legend?
I hope that he's just alive.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Year,
I agree, and I want his safety. But listen, the guy's first 10 records or Billboard Top 100.
Yep.
Like, think about that. Is that legendary? And if they say no, then think about like someone like Rakim or these guys who only had like 1 or 2 or 3 albums.
It's not fair.
You know
I have a question. Is record breaking legendary?
What do you mean? I'm not saying. What do you mean record breaking? I didn't say he broke any records.
He did. I mean, he's.
Did he? Is that a record? Because it's top 10.
Top 10.
I know. Fetty Wap had that record when he did like.
I think as a brand new artist, Tekashi is definitely like up there because.
Breaking barriers.
Pretty much all of his, every single one of his singles has gotten a plaque.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
So I think
his first 10 records broke Billboard Top 100.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
So love him or hate him.
But that is record breaking, right? Like
I don't know.
Being a new artist for 5
maybe it is
months.
All right,
maybe it is.
That's a good question.
Here's
a good question.
I'm gonna bring this guy up, and I have so much respect for him. But it's very interesting to dissect his career. Ludacris. Okay, so do we agree or disagree that Ludacris is a legend?
I would say yes.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
So it's so interesting because so Luda's last album was Ludaversal, which I was on. Mm-hmm. Yep. That was 2015, I believe.
Sounds right.
So it's been 3 years. If you take away Luda's acting career, Luda's, he's hosting the show. What's it called? That show.
Fear Factor?
Yeah, he's hosting Fear Factor. He's very visible.
Which is dope.
Right.
Yeah, he does. He gives back to the community. I mean, he does so many amazing things outside just being a rapper. Do you think because of that, that has helped with him gaining legendary status?
Listen, Throw Them Bows.
Right.
The whole ATL movement, the thing he did with Usher.
I think
with
music,
Usher and the whole Atlanta
the music puts him there.
movement.
I think
it comes to the music too.
I think people a lot of people won't consider him legendary status.
What? That's crazy.
Some people don't.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people don't consider him legendary status because they probably feel like he hasn't achieved as much or as high the things that other people have, and maybe because they don't see, like, he's not doing music right now or being seen. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not following him, you might not know what he's doing. Right. So I think a lot of people would definitely disagree with that. But I think, his catalog and the things that he's done throughout his career, especially how he impacted music, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. Listen, no disrespect, I completely disagree. I think Ludacris, for what he did, remember, he came from radio. He was a radio host before he became an artist, right? He was on the radio, and then, he met, I think is it Jermaine Dupri? It could be, but either way, I mean, if you look at the guy's discography, like, I didn't even mess with Atlanta until Ludacris came out, and Nelly.
Yeah, Nelly.
I'm gonna give it to those two.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, and then obviously, okay, what's his name? Lil Jon, right? So those guys, to me, that was the Atlanta movement. That was like, oh wow, Atlanta's really making the move. Outkast.
Yep.
So
many. T.I. I mean, there's just so many.
T.I., that whole, the whole organized noise, so that whole movement to me put me on to Atlanta.
Right.
But I think that started for me personally was with Nelly,
right, and
Ludacris,
right,
and then the whole Usher, they signed Usher, and then that whole thing, Jermaine Dupri, but I'm going to have to put Ludacris under there, man, as a legend for me. You know what I mean? Personally. Yeah. I don't know if everyone agrees.
It's very interesting to like analyze the criteria of what makes someone legendary.
Yep. Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's so it's so debatable. Yeah. Right.
Do you think your parents have to know who they are to be legendary? Because my mom knows who Ludacris is.
That's one form of looking at it.
I think. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think that matters because I think different generations and different
feel differently about different people,
generations, ethnicities, you know what I mean? Like there's I'm Dominican and there's a lot of people in my family that don't speak English and they'll be like Jay-Z who?
Yeah, Jay-Z who?
Jay-Z.
Yeah, we forget that there's a single or album can go like 10 million records sold
and somebody
platinum,
might not know
but it means nothing in the world.
There's 7 billion people on earth.
And listen, where I realized that was when I went to India for my sister's wedding. I went to India. I'm in the hotel room.
You got food poisoning.
I'm going. I did. I'm going through the all day.
All day.
I'm going through the channels. And I'm looking at like the MTV. They're like, I don't want to say BET, but they're, So I'm going through it. I see the Indian Beyonce.
Yeah.
I see the Indian Eminem.
Crazy.
Like I'm looking, and that's when it hit me. It was like, wow, these majors have a lot of money.
Yeah. They make their own version
because they literally replicate. Yeah. Oh, Beyonce. Okay, we'll put her America, and let's make an Indian version of Beyonce. And let me tell you, man, the music was good. Yeah. I didn't know what they were saying, but I was enjoying it. But it was just, and then imagine, they have that in China and in Europe and in France, Philippines and Mexico.
I think if parents or other generations or whatever, because there's just so many different types of divides when it comes to music, right? Yep. Different ethnicities, like we said, countries, ages. I think if that's definitely a telling sign of legendary status, but also not really, because there's so many people that our parents or whatever know that aren't really that popular or aren't legends, so it kind of, I think it helps to have that type of recognition. But
true, exactly. Alice is gonna go puke in the bathroom. Point the camera to him. Too much wine for that guy. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So I just got an RSVP.
Oh, okay. So, well, you guys are going to hear this, and it would have happened already. So, go get that Kanye West Nas album. Well, it's a Nas album, right? Fully produced by Kanye.
West.
So, yeah, I'm already gonna go ahead on record and say that it's fire, just because it's
Right.
Nas. I mean, speaking of legendary, Nas.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so you got Nas coming out, and then go get this. This is a plug time. Go get that new single, 2 Chainz, Drake, Quavo, produced by myself and Murder Beats, out now. It's called Bigger Than You. Okay, kind of cool.
How did that come about?
So my man Murda, you know what I mean? Like I've been working with Murder Beats for going on 3 years now, and I was able to kind of see his rise from kind of the early stages, and we just kind of continue to collaborate, and it's just really a matter of working, collaborating,
Right.
and just kind of.
What's your collaboration like, being that he traveled, like you both travel so
Yeah.
much, right? Like you're not always in the same city, obviously. And, you know, the way producers collab is like sending a lot of emails, files back and forth.
Yeah.
So what's you guys' style like? Does he email you shit first? Do you email him? Like, yo, I think you would be dope on this.
Yeah, we send each other stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's all through just sending.
Right.
That's it. It's like literally that simple, you know. But it's crazy because, like, you know, you have like a relatively big record like this with all these superstars on it, and so like the question that you would get is like, okay, how does a record like that even come about, right? And so like, you know, you got to credit Murder because like he has put the work in to put a record like this together. You know what I mean? Like he was the one that was out there, like moving around and trying to get everything going, and like it was a track that we collaborated on, and so like all these kind of like hurdles had to happen, or all these hurdles we had to jump over, all these hurdles, and all these stars had to align for like a record like this to happen.
Right.
So it's like when we obviously we get the question all the time, like how do you get placements, it's like there's no one answer to it. But what I know for myself is the way I got the placement and how this record came about was I formed a relationship with Murder Beats early, and he fucked with me, I fucked with him, and a bunch of things had to happen for the record to happen. You know what I mean? And so
Does that get easier? Like the more you, like, being that you guys have obviously worked together for so many years and collaborated numerous times, all the back end stuff like paperwork and
for sure.
it's
For
just
sure.
easier
Yeah.
now, or
Yeah.
depending on the artist.
Well, it always depends on the artist usually, but when it comes to like collaborating with producers, you know, I don't really like collaborate with people that do shady business. So
Right.
it's more just like
You already know what
and like the industry is pretty small, so like a lot of the attorneys, like our attorneys are kind of, there's more producers collaborating, so like they kind of like know each other more. So it's like me and Murder have collaborated already in the past, so you know our attorneys have already dealt with each other in the past, so there's a little bit more of a rhythm there. Yeah, it makes it easier, you know what I mean? And then with, like me and Boy Wonder, it's like we kind of have this like system going, so it's pretty cool. And you know, it's so interesting because like it takes such a long time to like get to that point.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the wave of the future for music producers is the collaboration and the art of collaborating. You know, like 10 years from now, it's just going to be, I mean, you know, knock on wood, we're all still going to be here doing what we do, but there's going to be a whole new set of just, you know what I mean, producers that are also in the matrix too. So it's just ever evolving, you know. It's very interesting.
I'm ready to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, it's out
Well, I
now.
heard it already.
But you heard it already.
Well,
it's good.
Shit's dope.
The 808 sounded nice. No.
I fuck with it.
Yeah.
Fuck with the vibe.
Yeah. So guys, listen. Like, shout to all the producers like who are collaborating now. You know what I mean? I mean, first of all, me and you have to collaborate more.
Yeah, I literally was just gonna say
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah,
Me and Perfection.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm clearing my schedule as much as possible because you got a very specific like work
I do.
flow though.
I do.
You know what I mean?
Well, lately I have because I'm
Yeah.
working on that other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's no
Like Illmind's very like pull up at 9 a.m.
yeah. and then at
like-
exactly 3:25,
I'm like trying to call out.
yeah, I know, right? But yeah, me and Perfection definitely we gotta collab more.
yeah.
We're gonna
It's
do
right
some
there.
crazy shit.
It's right there.
Yeah, we're gonna do some shit.
It's right there.
But shout to all the producers out there. Like, I'm like, again, such a big advocate of like collaborating. So like, don't worry about trying to like collaborate with the biggest producer right now. It's like, the guy you're collaborating with now could become the biggest producer, or you could become the biggest producer one day. So just like when you work with people and you work with your peers, it just opens up the doors so much, man. Like you're combining your relationships together, and you're doing less of the heavy lifting.
Right.
And also too, the music, like you're making music that you wouldn't be able to make by yourself. So it's just something interesting really happens when you
and
collaborate.
it just opens up your creative juices, because you see how other people do things. Every time I work with somebody else, I'm like, oh shit, they learn from me or I learn from them, and then I incorporate that in the future, like my own way, obviously.
I gotta watch you make beats one day,
Yeah.
because the way Perfection, like, right, like her drums have like a thing, right?
Yeah, we were talking about it.
But I'm trying to, like we were saying last week,
don't.
is like,
Trying to break out of it.
yeah, because even just the conversation about like New York producers, creating a new sound, like
True.
I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I want to be one of those producers that brings a new sound to the city.
True.
So I feel like if I just get stuck in the same sound, I mean, I think obviously everybody has a sound or elements that make up what they sound like, and I think it's great to incorporate that. But what I'm saying is I don't want to get stuck just doing the same production because it's my sound.
True.
Like I want to think outside the box and create new sounds for the city,
Yeah,
for the industry itself, but for the city,
exactly.
So
That's fire right there. That's facts right there. Hold on. Anyway, it's very true. We got work to do. We got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
Speaking of sounds of the city, we didn't do this last week, but you guys ready to hear some sounds from this blabber crap?
crap.
I'm
You guys ready to do
born
some blabber
ready,
crap?
yo. Born ready.
Blabber crap. All right,
I'm ready.
you gonna do this? You gonna do some of this?
Or some blaps.
Some of this?
Let's hope we get some.
Or let's get some of these.
It's a blap. It's a blap. It's a blap.
Blappington.
Blap. So listen, what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, guys. Listen up. This is our segment called Blabber Crap, where we choose your beats at random that you've submitted to us through our website, beatthread.com, beatthread.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose your beat at random. We're going to play the beat, snip it, and then if we like the beat, we're going to give you a blap, and if we don't, we're going to give you a crap, and we'll try our best to give you constructive criticism. Usually we just shit on you, which is totally fine. But listen up, man. If the beat is fire, it's fire.
Fire.
Like you guys have, if you guys have heard our podcast or seen us on YouTube, when we hear something we like,
we know when we hear it.
give our respect.
Hell yeah.
And don't get mad either.
No.
Like,
You know
Get
what?
motivated. Get
because
motivated.
You know what?
You got crabs, or because your homie got crabs.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Listen, if we shit on you
Do better.
and you get in your feelings, get the fuck out of here.
A crap
You know
is
what I
just a
mean?
motivation. That's
It's
all.
motivation.
It's just a
Like,
motivation.
Everybody crabs.
Music speaks,
That's
and
right.
and
It's not a loss. It's a
no,
lesson.
it's not a
lesson.
loss. It's not a loss, guys. All right. So that's what we're gonna do. So if you want to submit for this segment, all you have to do is go to beatthread.com. It's free to sign up, and you're going to create a profile. And when you upload your track, all the steps are right there. It's really easy to use. It works very similarly to SoundCloud. And you're going to upload your track, and make sure when you upload your beat, you hashtag blap or crap when you upload. That's very important. And the website's really cool, man. We have drum kits there from a lot of our homies, exclusive drum kits. And there's a rating system too, so it's really cool. You could actually listen to other people's beats and you can critique them right on the website. So there's a rating system, there's a fire emoji, a thumbs down emoji. You can critique the drums, the melody, the mix, arrangement, all these different criteria. And you can leave also, you could type in some verbal feedback in there too. And the cool part about the website is the highest rated, most popular tracks float to the top of the page, so they get the most hits. And it's a cool kind of, way to try to get to number one, right? And so it's SoundCloud and Reddit kind of wrapped into one, which I think is really cool. So beatthread.com, make sure you go to the website and join. Again, it's free, and if you're a music producer, there's no reason why you shouldn't be on that website. We're going to pull these tracks from beatthread.com. Let's give it a go.
I'm excited.
Blabber Crap, our first submission for today is by It's AOG.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Yeah. You were telling some Boys to Men, bro. Oh shit. You need a little, you need a little harmony on that, bro.
All these years of pain in the hood. Underneath the car, in the hood. Underneath the hood. I do the oil changing.
In the hood.
In the hood. I change my oil.
In the hood.
In the hood.
In the hood.
I paint my car.
In the hood.
In the hood. I wash my car.
In the hood.
In the hood.
Yo.
You wash your clothes.
In the laundromat. In the hood.
In the hood.
All right.
That shit was a fucking brown paper bag.
Really? Damn. I think it was a crap.
Perfection. Start off.
That was a crap. It wasn't bad. Just.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
But it was good in the hood.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely. I feel like somebody would pick that up, right? But I mean, it just lacked emotion and energy for me, whatever that energy is.
Yeah, I'm gonna crap it too. It was a little on the boring side.
Yeah, I don't know who would pick it up, but I'm gonna say that's a brown paper bag for me.
Oh man,
we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah. Brown paper bag for those of you who have been living under a rock. Just it's the lowest of the low. I think that's like drag to the trash.
Drag it to the bottom.
I didn't think it was that bad, but
to the bottom right.
Yeah. Anyway, our next submission is Audio Zoo. Let's go. Very fast.
Audio Zoo Music Production.
You like that drop?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's not it for me though.
Yeah. Up, change up.
Audio Zoo Music Production.
Yeah, take that second tag out, please.
Drop.
Alrighty then.
You know what's interesting about it is there were things I really liked about it.
Mm-hmm. Talk to him.
Like the programming, I wasn't really feeling. The
synth, right?
The synth, I wasn't feeling that. I would take all the drum programming off of that, but just take like the chords and the melodies that they use, minus that organ thing, and just start from scratch. You know what I mean? And just come on some real like. So if you can get some really dope fucking kick snare programming, hi-hats, like
so
bass,
it does have potential.
It does, but it's a crap. It's a crap, but it does have potential, definitely.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna crap it too. I agree with Atlas. I like the pre-hook chords, but that synth that came in on the hook wasn't it. I wasn't mad at. I mean, the verses were interesting. I think it could be an interesting song, but it just wasn't all the way there. So, yeah, I'm gonna crap that.
Yeah, I'm gonna crap that too. It wasn't a bad beat. It had a lot of energy just because the tempo was really fast and the way the drums were going. But it just sounds like something that I heard before. So it just didn't really.
Didn't
I
connect.
I wasn't super crazy about it. I mean, I could see someone picking that up, but yeah.
Didn't connect. All right, our next submission is by Daryl Donald 93. Here we go. Little
No, it's not it for me right now.
Hey. Little Adult Swim. Adult Swim bump. What do you think, Ad?
Let's see. When it comes
Little
right
real hip hop.
Right now, it's okay.
These are the breaks. Preach got the hip hop hands going. Yeah, spit some real bars.
I don't like that bass, whatever that is. really distorted.
It is very distorted.
Yeah, from the city of NJ. Underground hip hop right next to the MJ. Motherfuckers know that I got a lot to say. Freestyle underground style all day. I like to go to barber shops. I like to go to barber hops.
You like to eat your pork chops.
Pork chops, no bacon.
With some
You
hip-hop.
faking. Saking. You're forsaken. Lyrical, miracle, spiritual. I'm so lyrical. Check it out one time. Okay. That was my freestyle for the day.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna crap that. Everything was extremely distorted. Like the bass line, I know where he was going or she was going, and if it was mixed well, the track would be maybe alright. But man, it was brutal to listen to. So for that, I'm gonna crap it.
Perfection.
Yeah, I'm gonna crap that. I mean, when it first came on, it was a different groove, a different vibe, which I wasn't mad at. I wanted to see where it was going, but once that bass came in, it kind of just threw it off for me. I would say change that. It wasn't a bad beat. Change that, and then maybe I would like to hear it sped up a little bit, just a tad bit.
Good idea.
And play with the mix a little bit.
I'm gonna crap it too, but I feel like it definitely has potential though. Like I would either redo that bass or just take it out and just let that beginning part be the beat. I feel like if you're if you have a good song idea for that kind of beat, you can write something cool to that, right?
Agreed.
And I like the drum textures too, you know. So it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't a blap. All right, our last submission for today is by Taylor Neal. I hope we go out with a bang.
Right.
Dude. Come on.
Let's get it.
A good bang.
A good bang. No pause on that. Okay. Yeah. Dr. Dre. Yeah. West Side. It's just too much, you know? It's like I like the drums, but it just got so sad.
Yeah.
Struggle bars.
Yeah.
I mean, I like struggle bars.
I feel like it's super predictable, too.
Yeah.
I would say keep the drums and the piano and just take everything else off and start over.
I feel like it needs like a bass, like a good bass line.
Yeah. You know what it needs? It needs a rolling 808 somewhere. That's what it needs.
Alice loves them rolling 808s. You know what? I'm gonna get you a rolling 808 for Christmas.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna be a wave file.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a roll from C sharp
Tough.
to D sharp, and then I'm gonna put it on a flash drive. Rolling 808, and I'm gonna wrap it up.
Awesome.
We need Atlas to make his own rolling 808.
Yeah.
We need a rolling 808 kit from Atlas. To plug.
Might have to
Exactly.
do that.
Exactly.
Say no more, guys. It's coming.
Rolling 808 kit from Atlas. Okay, yeah. So
Mundo Beats.
I guess I'll go first. I mean, I'm gonna crap it, but I agree with Perfection. I think like the pianos were decent. I do like the drums though. Like it definitely had that. You know what I mean? That like gangsta fucking head nod shit. And I like the texture of the drum, but melodies gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, rehash those.
I agree. Done.
Yeah.
Ill said it.
I wasn't super mad at the piano and the drums in the beginning. I wasn't a fan of the type of piano that you chose for that that particular piano sound. But the combination of the piano with the drums, I wasn't mad at, although it wasn't too exciting. But yeah.
Sorry.
Crap.
Agreed.
Atlas?
Agreed. Yeah, I'm gonna crap that
Craps.
one. I like the percussion. The percussion was dope, but like the Dr. Dre, Scott Storch piano.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love those. Don't get me wrong. I'm a
Yeah.
legendary right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't in the pocket for me. So I'm gonna have to crap that one.
Crap. Wow, we have 100% craps today.
We did. It happens.
It is
It
what
happens.
it happens.
It
Some
happens.
weeks we have some blaps in there, but a lot of
Yeah.
craps today.
When you get them, that's how we know it's special. You
yeah.
know, when you get that blap. in there.
Exactly. Listen up, guys. If you want to submit for this segment, blap or crap, all you have to do is go to beatthread.com, BEATTHREAD. You're going to sign up. It's free to sign up. You're going to create a profile and start uploading your beats. Make sure you hashtag blap or crap when you upload. And enjoy the website. Cop some kits, listen to some other beats, some other producers. Start networking with some other producers on there. We have, how many members do we have now? Like more than 10,000, I think,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, so it's growing by the day. It's a really, really fun website. So go to beatthread.com and submit your beats there. And that's about it for today, man.
No, I want to throw a few things in.
Please, before
I'm
we
going to
end.
be in Cali next week. I'm going to be June 22nd.
What you got going on? Tell them.
So June, I'm going to go out and be, I'm a guest in the podcast. I'm going to be flying out there.
Nice.
And I'm doing a meet and greet out in the Bay.
All right.
So
Do you want
Glenn's not
anyone from the Bay to hit you up for the meet and greet? How could they attend?
Yeah. Just hit me up at Atlas the Plug on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm also doing a party at the end of the month. I got Static Selector headlining.
Hey.
It's called Stuck in the 90s. We're doing a tribute set to Tupac and to Prodigy because it's their birthdays this month.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, Prodigy, man.
And that's June 30th here in New York City. And then the next month, June 26th, I'm doing True Masters here in New York City again next month. So
Amazing. How can they find all the info for this stuff? Just follow you on social media, right?
Atlas the Plug on all
Tweet him.
platforms. Yeah,
Tweet him.
and DM me. I got you.
Perfection, you got anything coming?
What do I have coming?
Merch. What's up
I
with the
just
merch?
dropped my merch. We just restocked because I sold out last time.
Oh my God, sold out. Guess what? I don't have one yet.
Yeah, I
where's
actually,
my hoodie?
I actually have
XL.
Illmind asked for a special request hoodie, so I got that one for you. I got Atlas's, Glams. But yeah, go to perfectionofficial.com and cop yourself a hoodie because no one is perfect. And just working on the beats, really, you know, building relationships in the studio and keeping that going.
Yep.
I got something big that might be coming along, but
Hey.
I'm a manifest it by saying
Manifest
that,
it,
but I'm not
manifest
gonna jinx it and say it.
The cool thing about our podcast is like you guys get to kind of witness like everything happening in real time for us because we come together every Thursday or every week and we all kind of have our respective things going on, and so it's just really cool to watch. So I'm like really proud of you guys and all of you guys too, like listening, you know, like every week, fuck with us on YouTube. So definitely we appreciate all of our listeners, man. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to leave comments either, whether you're on SoundCloud or you're on iTunes or, you know, any platform, YouTube. Don't be afraid to interact, leave comments, and follow us on all of our social media at BLAPCHAT, BLAPCHAT.
Tweet us, DM us, put your friends on.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like
DM us. If you have questions or comments, let us know.
All that good shit.
Suggestions.
And suggestions, people guests you want us to get on here.
Yep.
We have some awesome
Topics.
guests coming up too. You already know this is only episode 75, so we have so much more to cover with you guys. So shout to all the music producers, music creators, rappers, singers. Appreciate you guys, man. Keep staying on the grind. Don't let anybody stop you from attaining your dreams and reaching your goals. So we'll see you next week. We out.
La 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 la
Peace.
la la la
Blap chat, blap chat, blap chat, blap chat, blap chat, blap chat, blap chat.